So last night was the first in the January 6th public hearings about their findings. And there was a lot there last night. But some of the most notable parts we played earlier in the show, the video of the never before seen footage of the rioters storming the Capitol, the coup attempters on the right, paramilitary, right-wingers, all of that. But another wrinkle in what was aired last night was that they showed the testimony that was recorded of Trump officials, including Trump kids. Here is Liz Cheney teeing up Ivanka Trump's testimony, in which Ivanka admits that she believed Attorney General Bill Barr's characterization of the 2020 election results, that it wasn't stolen, and Trump responded to his favorite golden child on Twitter.
Miller was a senior Trump campaign spokesman. In this clip, Miller described...
Sorry, wrong clip.
All good.
We have. Yeah.
I mean, everything's a Liz Cheney clip, so how are we able to even discern? Yeah.
Many of President Trump's White House staff also recognized that the evidence did not support the claims President Trump was making. This is the president's daughter commenting on Bill Barr's statement that the department found no fraud sufficient to overturn the election.
How did that affect your perspective about the election when Attorney General Barr made that statement?
It affected my perspective. I respect Attorney General Barr. So I accepted what he was saying.
As you will hear on Monday, the president had every right to litigate his campaign claims, but he ultimately lost more than 60 cases in state and federal courts.
So that is Ivanka Trump in as soft of language as she possibly can use, basically saying, no, my dad was wrong about the election being stolen, and I respected Bill Barr and I accepted his characterization of it. So this morning, Donald responded to his daughter. I mean, this is the last person he felt would stab him in the back. I was going to call this a tweet, but it's not. It's from his Truth Social account. It's a truth. The truest of the true. Ivanka Trump was, referring to his daughter by her full name, was not involved in looking at or studying election results. She had long since checked out and was, in my opinion, only trying to be respectful to Bill Barr in his position as Attorney General. He sucked. So...
Being respectful, like an idiot.
Yeah. Apparently, she was just like not around. She was checked out. She was unable to peruse through the mountains of evidence that the My Pillow guy was delivering to Donald Trump about the election being stolen. Really, really interesting to see that play out. She did not go as far as she could have. She said that she accepted his characterization essentially, but
this is like, to me, like this is really the issue. Like the spectacle of violence at the Capitol is one thing, but like I said, like that looks a whole lot different after an election that actually is stolen. And so like, and I don't believe that a lot of those people thought that the election was actually stolen. I think that they consciously thought they were stealing the election. So I'm not making excuses for them. But like the big problem and what's going to lead to more and more political violence is if the major reactionary political party in this country, explicitly reactionary political party in this country, is allowed to just continually lie about elections. Like they already stole one within our lifetime in 2000. Mm-hmm. And so like I think this stuff is and so all the people and I mean we'll just bring up Greenwald again because he has taken up the mantle of being the defender of the Ashley Babbitt Sympathy Society. But there's the one defense is that these people were lied to. But if you can't be clear that they were lied to, then you're a Republican or a crypto Republican or a fascist paralegal or whatever it is. But you're doing work for the right.
And also, Matt, I think you've made this point in the past, but like, this is not me sympathizing with anybody who went to the Capitol, but I'm saying like a lot of these people who kind of, you see in some of their testimony being like, I was told to do this. Donald Trump said that I had to do this.
Yes.
It's like
We can play that soon.
The people beyond who have the so-called blood on their hands and also beyond the actual people who physically entered are the ones who literally made it their project every single day from November until January 6th to make these people believe that this is what they had to do.
And right, it's the focus on, and I'm working this out honestly in real time. It's easier, I think, for the visceral imagery for like of people storming the Capitol to be the focus for powerful players, because when the focus is on Ivanka or it's on Bill Barr, it sets a precedent that it's like the mob. It was going to do what it was going to do.
What is the mob? Like, look at what the word mob comes from. It comes from like the 17th century term for mobile vulgus, which mean like vulgar people who are mobbing together, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally an elitist phrase pointing at people. So of course and that's why I think certain people on the left react negatively to these hearings, because it is like elites getting freaked out by the people, right? And at a very reductive level, that's what this can look like.
But like
But
not
what it is
right.
it's a political conspiracy by the
Yes.
right-wing party. Like that's what it actually is.
Let's turn to let's turn to this other clip that Bradley just put in the chat.
Yeah, it's in chat, Matt.
Okay.
This is basically exactly what we're talking about, which is like testimony from people who were at the Capitol, all being like, I felt this was like what I had to do / was told to do.
Right. The focus should be on the Republicans who enabled the big lie, to use the overused phrase, and deployed this everywhere from, people who were just like Trump fanatics, maybe had mental issues, to crazy fascist Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, but they enabled that coalition to commit violence and storm the Capitol. And you always should be pointing your finger to the top. It doesn't matter that the people that they manipulated were awful people in and of themselves for the most part.
Yeah.
The focus on just them misses the larger picture, and it's beneficial towards powerful people to only focus on the voters that were duped and the crazies and the MAGA. But these are rioters testifying, I did this for Trump. Trump told me to do this.
And he did.
The fact that, I had supported Trump all that time. I did believe, that the election was being stolen. And Trump asked us to come.
He personally asked for us to come to D.C. that day. And I thought, for everything he's done for us, if this is the only thing he's going to ask of me, I'll do it.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Did you recall President Trump mentioning going to the Capitol during his speech?
Oh, yeah. So that's one of my disappointments. He said he was going to go with us, that he was going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I know why I was there, and that's because he called me there, and he laid out what is happening in our government. He laid it out.
But I remember Donald Trump telling people to be there, right? I mean, to support.
So you mentioned that the president asked you. Do you remember a specific message?
Basically, yeah, he asked for us to come to D.C. That big things are going to happen.
What got me interested, he said, I have something very important to say on January 6th or something like that, is what got me interested to be there.
Trump has only asked me for two things. He asked me for my vote, and he asked me to come on January 6th.
Yeah, I would have.
And that got you 36 months on probation, Robert.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. I mean, seriously.
So just more examples that were in that video, the previously unseen video footage of the riot. There was footage of rioters reading Trump's tweet during the coup attempt, during that day on January 6th, attacking Mike Pence for not having, quote, courage. He also tweeted ahead of the day, be there and be wild, which it's not, I'm sorry to laugh. I mean, it's not like an invitation to a rave. It was an invitation to do what they did. He, in his speech on the day, they played the footage of him saying, if Mike doesn't do this, I'm going to be very disappointed in him. Like he's chastising a kid that took too many cookies out of the jar.
And he also had at the Ellipse rally, they had, you had Mo Brooks being like, we got to basically crack skulls and like take names type of rhetoric. And also Giuliani being like, this is trial by combat.
Trial by combat.
Basically,
Yeah.
like
What
all
does
of
that
this
mean?
stuff, even if it wasn't true, even if Trump wasn't as explicit, it doesn't really matter.
Trial by fencing, with the right protective
Exactly.
gear.
The openers literally were like, we got to go in there and commit acts of violence.
And
Like, sorry.
what Trump continues to say on Truth Social or whatever the fuck that's called is
What he continues to truth.
the so-called rush on the Capitol was not caused by me. It was caused by a rigged and stolen election. So he's just saying like I was just a messenger.
Yeah.
And so like and still like and that's Trump has not remotely like there was one story where it's like did Trump accidentally admit Joe Biden won the election, but he has not fallen back from this lie at all. And it is
And initial reporting said that he was, accepted the results initially, but then he was like getting egged on by the Roger Stones, or he saw conspiracy theories and he just ran with it. But in the lead up to it, he said I'm either going to win or it's going to be stolen from me.
Yeah.
Heads I win, tails you lose. And like the stand back and stand by comment, I said this earlier in the program, but they had a Proud Boys former member testify in last night who said that membership increased by tripled. So how much more evidence do we need? And like,
Yeah.
That compilation of people who are on probation because of this or in jail or whatever is telling. And it's incumbent upon us, even though they have vile beliefs and, they aren't like the
People
poor,
like us,
downtrodden
yeah.
working class that in terms of the studies that they were described to be by certain right-wing influencers. It doesn't mean that they should be the number one focus of our ire. Maybe
No.
Proud Boys, maybe Oath Keepers.
No, but I agree with what you're saying. And what I want to jump on that is saying, like, people like us who are willing to be definite about that this was a lie, that what motivated these people into this was a lie, are the ones who don't want more Ashley Babbitts. The people like Tim Pool or Glenn Greenwald who are willing to equivocate about this, or both sides, and say actually Democrats did that too, or to say maybe there, like Tim Pool, like maybe there were questions about the election that we aren't sorted out. Those people want more Ashley Babbitts.
Yep.
They want more of Ashley Babbitts to go and get themselves killed for Republican politics.
100%. I still remember that day. I was thinking about it when I was watching last night when we were wrapping up the show as that was happening.
I wanted to get going.
I remember thinking we really should stay on air, and Matt was like, "We got to go."
Come on.